Hey, everyone. Welcome to Introducing the Podcast. Hi, everyone. I am your girl, Smart Video Girl. You are tuned into Introducing the Podcast here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 5 p.m. on the West Coast. So make sure you tune in, keep it locked. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the Only Greatness Media Production YouTube channel so that you don't miss any of this goodness. Okay. All right. So, season two of Introducing has been awesome. I must say, it has been great to be back this season. A lot of new things, new haircut, new guests, new everything, right? And I just want to give a shout out to everyone who is joining me right now, who is watching live and who will watch in the future. So if you are here, if you just want to just put a message in the chat to let me know that you are in the building. Hey, Mr. Cortland Jones, how you doing? Thank you for joining. Thank you so much for all my loyal introducing podcast viewers. I really do appreciate you. Again, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe this. Tell a friend to tell a friend, right? Because we over here introducing you to new people, new things, and new ways of thinking. Okay. And make sure that you follow me on IG at Smart Video Girl. All right. So today it's going to be a great show. All right. I have a very great guest for you, and we're having some technical difficulties, right? But I'm going to tell you the story. I'm going to tell you a story about my guest today. His name is Carlos Walker. All right. So, Mr. Carlos Walker, I met him about a month ago. Okay. I was downtown with at a meeting, and it was a beautiful day because we've been having some great days here in the DMV. The weather has been like amazing for this early spring, right? And I was walking downtown after a meeting, and I was walking on the mall, and I was headed to the metro. I was on my way to the metro, and I was just walking and minding my business, enjoying the weather. And lo and behold, I saw this guy walking. We was like walking parallel to each other. And let me see what happened. He said something to me. That's what happened. He said something to me. So I'm going to bring on my guest who is with me now. His name is Mr. Carlos Walker. Carlos, welcome to the show, sir.
Peace and blessings. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I let the people know we having some technical difficulties. Okay, so told them to bear with us. Pardon me. Okay, if you if you have some difficulties, but you know that this is the digital age, so anything is liable to happen. But I was just telling them how we encountered one another. Okay, so this was truly God bringing two people together. It was like, you guys have to meet. Like, we don't know. I don't know why. We don't know what it is for, but we had to meet. So I'm walking. Now, mind you, I was at the Capitol and I was walking to Smithsonian. I could have clearly got on the train at Capitol South, but it was such a nice day. So I was going to walk. So I was walking to Smithsonian. And along the way, I see Mr. Carlos Walker here walking towards the African American Museum. We're both walking in the same direction. And because he's doing his thing, he's out selling his book, and we'll talk about that a little later. And he just happened to stop me because he's doing his due diligence. He wants to make sure that people know about his book. So he stops me and we start talking. He's sharing his information. And then he asks me if I have a pen, you know. Like it just kind of it was he asked me if I had a pen. I had a pen. He asked me if I wanted to buy the book. I definitely patronized and bought a book. But it was a miracle, if you want to call it, because he shared a story that he doesn't usually park so far away and have to walk. So on our both of our journeys of walking, we ran across one another, and I was very much intrigued in the moments that we got to spend with each other, that I wanted to invite him on the show so that I can learn more about him and that I can introduce you all to my guest. So that was a long story about Mr. Carlos Walker. So welcome to the show, sir. How are you today?
Oh man, life is perfect. And you?
Yes. I'm wonderful. I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm great. Life is always good. Okay. It's always working in my favor. Um, so please do you have such a, from the short time that I met you, you have such a great story. And I really want to get the opportunity to delve into that today, to share with the people what it is about. And of course, you see the name of the title is called Pardon Me. And the reason I named it that is because you shared a very interesting fact with me in our short, brief time together, that you were pardoned and released from prison. Is that correct?
It is. I guess you could call it a pardon. You remember when Kim Kardashian, Van Jones, John Legend them fought for prison reform? I'm a
Yes.
recipient of it. So I guess it would be kind of like a sort of a. Well, I came up under the First Step Act.
Okay, the first stop. The fresh start.
First,
First
first step.
first step at. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I like pardon me. I like to play on words and things of that sort.
Most
And
definitely.
actually that is something, there is that essence of you being able to being released and having that first step. So tell us a little bit about what happened there. What is your backstory on that?
So I was given a 23-year sentence back in 2006.
Wow.
uh, 20 years for distribution of crack cocaine and 3 years for eluding the police and 4 assaults on 4 police officers, which I
Okay.
did not assault the police officers, just to let y'all know, but I did elude the police,
Mhm.
and they trumped some charges up on me. They charged me with capital attempted murder on 4 police officers, and then
Wow.
when I finally went to court, they dropped the capital attempted murder charges down to assault on four police officers. They gave me 6 months apiece on each officer, a year for the eluding, and then I got 20 years for the crack cocaine.
Wow. Wow. And where was this what jurisdiction was this in?
It was in Virginia, but the 20 years was under the federal. It was under federal law or federal jurisdiction.
Florida federal jurisdiction. Wow. Wow. My
Yeah.
gosh.
So,
And how old were you at the
oh yeah,
time? How old were you?
24.
24. So that was 2006. Wow. And this
Mm-hmm.
is 20. So you served 14 years of that?
13.
13 years of that sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. So I have two questions. Okay.
Okay.
So my first question is, how did you, because I read your intro, and I'm what I know of you now. How did you get into a life where you are now subject to um, jail time for the distribution of crack cocaine? Like, what happened in your life that led you down this path?
Uh, Let me see. At the age of 14, I started selling weed.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I come from a two-parent. Let me back it up. I come from a two-parent home, so it ain't like I had a broken home. It's not like I had a bunch of stuff going on. Matter of fact, I'm in my mother's uh, house now. They're deceased, but what ended up happening is, I guess you could say, growing up, I felt that there was a lack of love, which I come to realize that it wasn't. They just didn't know
Yeah.
how to expound upon saying, "Hey, I love you," because they was older. Like
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
father,
Yeah.
my mother, before they passed, they was 80 and 79. So
Okay.
their way of showing you that they loved you was taking care of you.
Mm.
So not hearing some things made me, and my nieces came to stay with me, or came to stay with us when we was younger. So they had to assist them a lot more than they did their own child, because their father and mother wasn't there, so they
Mhm.
took on being parents to them. And growing up, I eventually got a little, I guess you could say, a little wild, or a little. I felt like my mother didn't love me as much.
Come on.
It was just
All right.
it was just a feeling though. It wasn't
Yeah.
that it was the truth.
Yes,
They
yes,
don't
yes.
know how to express me. I don't know how to take it in. And
Mhm.
at the age of, let me see, 9, I started acting up. At the age of probably about, I started smoking weed at age of 11. Started I always, my parents always made me like cut grass, do certain things at an early age. So I had a hustler's skill. But at
Mhm.
the age of 14, I ended up selling the weed. Got kicked out of school. At the age of 15, I started selling moonshine.
Oh.
And yeah, I ended up getting kicked out of school because I ended up fighting two police at that point in my life. The
Wow.
age of 18, got in trouble. Caught a weed charge, caught a crack charge, beat the crack charge, caught a weed. Did catch the weed charge and did like 2 months.
Mm.
At the age of 21, I caught a crack charge and a weed charge. I beat the crack charge again, and all this was me praying and asking God to do something. And it seemed like every time I would beat the crack charge, I would catch the weed charge. At the
Mhm.
age of 24, I caught a crack charge and they gave me 23 years,
Wow. 3 strikes, huh? Was that the 3rd, 4th
basically,
time?
because
Yeah, basically.
because of the two weed charges.
Mhm. Mm. I I asked you that story because I'm always interested to hear, um, people's backgrounds. I had my guest from last week, similar story. If you guys are paying, he was from a two-parent household. His was peer pressure. It was the streets. It was the appeal. It was the, you know, and I find that so interesting. If you what year were you born, if you don't mind me asking?
1981.
Okay, so you were eight the same age. Oh, I was born in 81. So there is this era that we grew up in, talking about relating to your parents, how your parents cared for you, right? But not knowing that that was really not knowing that that was love, knowing that they did the best that they could with the way that they grew up. Like that is, I think that's so important because that leads a lot of us down a path in so many ways, myself included. There's different paths that we take because we don't recognize the love that our parents gave us, the way that they knew how to give it. So that is so important. And thank you for sharing that story uh, with everyone. And I hope everyone can see that for themselves because a lot of times, you grow up, you don't think your parents love you, but they do. So bless that. Oh,
Hmm.
somebody's sending me a message. All right. And then my second question, so thank you for answering that, is um, what did 13 years behind bars teach you about yourself?
Uh, it taught me a couple things. One, to learn to depend and trust on God fully. Uh, Growing up, I believed in
Mm,
God, but it was
mhm.
mainly only when I needed Him to get me out of some type of trouble that I truly believed in God.
Come
When
on.
it came down to, I did go to church on Sundays, even went to Bible study on Wednesdays, but what I didn't do was trust God with things like finances, things that uh, I felt I could do myself.
Mm, mm, mm,
So
mm.
it taught me to learn to trust God wholeheartedly. Two, it taught me that I was a praiser.
Okay, come on.
That there is something inside of you that circumstances can pull out of you. Like I
Come
went
on.
back to doing art. Um, I learned how to debate. I was on the debate team. I I'm a creator. A lot of stuff I didn't know that was within me, even though like I knew I could draw. I've been drawing ever since I was 8 years old, but I didn't know that this would be my career. But what the circumstance drew out of me what was already in me.
Yes, God. Yes, God. You're making me so happy right now. Hallelujah. Listen, it was so it's so funny because I was just talking with my mother about this particular topic. You know, learning to trust God fully. A lot of people can know God, they can know of God. Okay, they can go to church, they can pray, they can go, like you say, go to church on Sunday, Bible study on Wednesday, they can read the Bible, they can know the Bible, but they do not know God. And that is a totally different thing. There's a relationship that you
Hmm.
develop with God, knowing Him for yourself. And,
Hmm.
you know, it's very interesting how you beat the crack charge two times before that, 2 or 3 times before that. And you
Hmm.
know, you pray to God for that. But that last time, He said, you know what? You may not clearly you're not hearing me. And, you know, it's like clearly you're not hearing me. Let me fully introduce myself to you. You know, we sometimes rely on God for the things that we think we need Him for, the trouble, right? But then once we're out of trouble, then we go and start to lean on our own understanding and try to do things that we think that we can do, right? We think we can go out and do everything. And what it really boils down to is really learning how to trust God on all levels. Learning to trust Him with your well-being, you know, which is very a difficult thing to do in our
Hmm.
humanness. Yes. It's very
My
much, yeah.
my sister told me when I first got locked up, she said, "You didn't truly trust God with
Mm,
everything."
mm-mm,
And I had to learn this because the first two times, I'd been, I'd get me and some of my friends that got pulled over, and I had some drugs on me, and I had them up under a pair of shorts, and I had some jogging pants on top. And once
mm-hmm,
they pulled us over, I prayed. I said, "Yahweh, please don't let me get caught with these drugs on me." And
mm-hmm,
they patted me down. Didn't find the drugs, stuck me in the backseat of the police car. I hid the drugs. They wouldn't drop me off. Went to go pick up one of my friends, found the drugs, came back and charged me with it. But I actually, that was one of the charges that I beat. It was more to the nature of God allowing me to see that even in your wrong, I'm going to take care of you.
come on.
But you have something that you have to do, and you'll know that later on, you'll know that it was me that did it. Because I did this, I prayed twice. That was two times that this happened. The last time, I also did.
Mm-hmm,
They had blocked me off. The police had blocked me off. There was really no way that I could have got out of this. And I said the same prayer. I said, Yahweh, please don't let me get caught with all this crack cocaine and all these drugs in my trunk. I had 28 and a half ounces of crack cocaine and 33 pounds in my trunk.
mm.
And I heard a whisper say, your car's still on. And I realized that it was on. They had got out the car. I slowly backed it up real slow, cut the wheel hard, went around their car and hit the gas. Now, what we know today is that young black men get shot and killed for running.
Yes, they do.
Had they, had they truly believed that I was attempting to murder them with my car, they would have shot in the car and killed me.
Yes, they would have.
But I feel like God had a bigger purpose for my life, and one
Mm,
is to tell my testimony. So
mm-hmm,
this is one reason why I am passionate about the things that I see when it's dealing with us and the police, because I'm not a casualty, and I hate that a lot of us have been casualties by the police.
mm.
But
Yeah.
I believe my testimony, my voice is meant to be spoken out. And I learned to trust him in there. When my sister
Mm-hmm,
told me that, I didn't understand it in the beginning. Now
mm,
I look back, I realize that sitting in prison, I couldn't take care of myself. God
Mm.
clothed me. He fed me. My sister sent me $170, 11 months straight. I mean, 11 years straight.
Wow.
He allowed her to take care of me. Both of my parents was taken care of. Both of my parents was taken care of. My entire life, I was like a little baby. That
Mm.
whole 13 years, and I realized something, and this just hit me probably about a couple months ago. When we are kids, little babies, we don't know our parents, but what one thing we do know is that every time we look, we see somebody come, the same two faces come and give you a bottle, come change your
Mm.
pamper, come pick you up and hold you, and you start to trust these two faces.
Come on. Yeah.
And this is how God is with us. When you
Hmm.
look over or when you check God's resume in your life, what you do, you constantly see His fingerprints all over your life. What He has done something for you, constantly did something, and what ended up
Yes.
happening, you you supposed to take and now trust that
Yeah.
I know I don't move on my own. There's a God to take care of me, and this is
Come
what I
on.
realized in prison.
Come on. You said a whole word right there. My God. You said a whole word right there. I really um appreciate you being able to share this because I have come to this place of knowing. I call it a knowing, when because I know like there's nothing for certain. The only thing that's for certain is God. And a lot of times when we're uncertain, we're worried, and we're concerned about everything that's going on with us, we turn away from the thing which is God, who is what is the thing that's going to help us through that. We're looking everywhere else but to who we should look to. And um, that's a journey that a lot of people have to go through. And I'm so blessed. Again, nothing happens by mistake. We said that when we were walking. Like there is no he'll be back. Trust me, he'll be back. There is no mistake that we cross paths in this way. And me and him have not had conversation at length of any sort. But we are definitely this experience that you're talking about, this knowing, this coming into trusting God wholeheartedly with everything is is really where I feel like he has placed me. Like this is my part of what he wants me to share as well. That's why I do things like introducing the podcast, and I'm not doing it from this place of saying, "Hey, I know," but it's just it is really coming from how I've seen him move in my life, coming to trust him. Like you said, if I go back and look and check his resume, I can see each and every time that he has put his finger on what it is that I was doing in some form or fashion. He has
Hmm.
saved me in so many ways. He has helped me in so many ways. He has carried me through things and decisions that I have made. And now I'm at a place where I know, and the only thing that I trust is God. And so I truly I truly thank you for this. And I was just saying, we haven't had talks at length. We didn't haven't had any conversation. So this is again truly him being doing what he does best, divine connections, bringing people together who can help, just to testify as to his greatness. I'm telling you, it is a powerful thing, and it is something that you have to know for yourself. And it's not just an action. It is the whole being of really
Hmm.
trusting God. Okay, so we're gonna get more into that, and we will have a lot about that. But I want to talk about your talents because, like I said, this book right here, "What If," is what brought us together, unified us, because Mr. Carlos Walker was on his way to the African American Museum to do what he does, which is promote and sell his book to people. And this is a book, it's a historical fiction novel, okay? And it's called "What If." And I'm going to let you tell the people what this book is about. Okay.
Okay, so Imagine what you know about history, from slavery through Jim Crow to our present moment. People being shot and killed by the police, and imagine these people doing going or what we have been through. But now, imagine white people being in our place and us
Mm,
being on the opposite end. What if is basically me sharing with the world what our lives look like? A lot of us don't know our history, so it teaches us our history, but for them, it teaches them our history, but it allows them to see themselves in our position.
yes.
And the main reason is for empathy. But God gave it to me while I was in prison.
Mm,
My father, my mother came to see me, and they was looking sick. I thought these people actually were going to die. And I went back to the cell and got on my knees and asked God to give me some where I would never have to sell. Give me something to make money where I never had to sell drugs again. And a month later, I'm walking on the compound. I'd been studying Black history for about 3 years. I'm walking on the compound, and I looked out, and it was a black correctional officer standing there with his hands behind his back in like a military stance, and it was a white guy cutting grass. And I told my friend, I was like, "Yo, this could be a black slave master and a white slave." He said, "I can see that." And the next thing I know is about 2 months later, I'm going through a Black history book, and page 12 in your book, whenever you get a chance, look at it. And this was the first picture that I seen, a black and white picture that looked like that. And the idea came back to my mind. And for the
mm,
next 3.5 years, I did picture after picture, just drawing. I was actually, I'm gonna be honest, I was mad. I was a little
mhm,
angry at what I had learned, but what I was seeing. Because while y'all was out here living in this world, seeing black people being killed by the police, I was on the sideline, not being able to do anything, but looking from a TV screen
mm,
and upset. And
mm,
what he gave me was a way that I could release, and that was through my art.
yes.
Uh, Two correction officers told me, they was like, "You should write a book to your artwork." Now, before I got locked up, I started writing my story or trying to put my story together, but I knew I couldn't finish it because it wasn't finished. It's
Hey,
still
come on.
here.
I can relate to
And
that.
and then when I got locked up, I'm doing all this artwork. They told me that, and next thing you know, I somehow pinned the words together. Got a couple people to edit it.
Uh-oh. Well, look, we haven't, like, again, I said we got technical difficulties. So look, this is the book here. It's called What If? And what he is explaining here is a story of our, it documents different things in Black history. And I'm sharing about the book. It's sharing, there are photographs, there are paintings, there are drawings, if you can see it. This is the artwork that he is talking about in the book. And um the different chapters of Black history, different events. Like he has the Eric Gardner can't breathe. I can't breathe. He has the incident in Florida, I mean in Texas, where the police officers, harassed the people at the pool party. If you guys don't remember that, and all of these paintings and drawings depict uh, the reversal of roles, basically. The whites and the blacks are the role is reversed. So um, it's a very interesting, when you look at it, and if you don't know, right, which a lot of people are very ignorant to some of these things. If you don't know and you're reading this, it will cause you to have a level, it should cause you to have a level of empathy and an understanding. There's a level of understanding that can come when you can start to see yourself as the people who are being oppressed. I was just talking about I was just talking to have a conversation about empathy with someone, and then being able to see ourselves in each other, which is very important. Like one of the and I say this all the time, because divide and conquer is one of the biggest things in this world that causes so much confusion and division in this world. Like that is the master key to so much of what is going on in this world is divide and conquer, because ultimately we are all connected. We all come from a
Hmm.
similar source. So if you are trying to have power, if you're trying to control things, what you want to do is create division. You want to create differences in the people so that they can't see themselves in each other. If we can start to see ourselves in one another, we can start to understand. Okay, sorry. If we can start to see ourselves in one another, if we can start to see ourselves in our brothers and our sisters, no matter what color, race they are, then we can start to have empathy for some of the things that are happening. We can start to alleviate, if blacks and whites, and well, I'll just take that because that's what we're talking about, can start to see themselves as the other. You can start to have empathy for the other.
Hmm.
You can start to see yourself and you can start to relate on a more human soul spiritual level versus what our differences are. So, I applaud you for this book. And the artwork is amazing. It's
Appreciate
absolutely
you.
it's amazing. Uh, how long did it take you to when did you start the drawings?
2000, 2014 to 2000, the beginning of 2018. So roughly about 3.5 years.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. I can
Wow.
only give it to God. I prayed for something and He showed out. Uh,
Man.
I asked Him for just something to help me make money where I never had to sell drugs again, and here I am now. Cause I've been home 4 years earlier. You remember when Kim Kardashian, Van Jones, John Legend, them fought for prison reform? That's when I came home,
Yeah.
and I've been home for the last 4 years. But what I've seen God take me from literally open up every door and every job that I've had since I've been here, but then
Mm.
close the job just so that I could go out there in front of the African American Museum over the last 20 months and sell
Wow.
books.
Wow.
I asked him to give me something, and he gave it to me. And here I am now. I have sold over 4,900 copies of this book and over
Wow.
4,500 hand in hand, and sold most of them in front of that African American Museum.
Wow. That is amazing. That is
No,
absolutely amazing. That's a God, like you said, that's God. That he gave you something. You asked for it, he gave you something. He helped you give a new product because you already had the skills, right? You had the skills, but then he gave you something that not only that you could use those skills, but then you could really embody all of the skills that you have, the talents, the gifts, and then being able to share that in order to create an awareness and to tell a story. So I definitely appreciate you for
you
that.
gotta remember what you gotta remember what the word says. The Bible says your gift will make room for you and put you before great men. Uh, it tells you you have not because you ask not, and then it says ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be answered. For
Come
me,
on.
I have I have seen God take me and do amazing things, but put me in front of people. I just seen Bishop T.D. Jakes. Me and you met, I think it was 3 weeks ago, right?
It was March 22nd. You signed the book.
Okay.
It was about a month ago.
And I met Bishop T.D. Jakes probably the next weekend or the next
Wow.
week after that.
Wow.
Or as this guy told me, he met me.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it messed me up when he told me this because it changed my perspective of the way I see me meeting people or people meeting me. When we
Yeah.
think about them, we've been met them because they constantly we see them constantly. But he said, nah, he met you. And
Mm.
it made my whole perspective change on the way I see things now. Because it's like you. We met, but the people who see you, they're seeing you. They're seeing
Yeah,
your talent, they're hearing your voice. So they're meeting you because this is what
this
you
is true.
do.
This is
This
true.
is what God is actually taking you and giving you a platform for was one reason.
Look at God. Look at, come on now. He's gonna come back because this is how it's been working. I just, ooh, that was a whole word. He on here preaching to me. Okay, listen. Okay, so while we're working that out, while we're working out the technical difficulties, real quick, I want to briefly tell you guys about what I have coming up because but once he comes back, we want to talk about. We're going to continue the conversation, but this Sunday, make sure that you check me out, your authenticity coach. I will be speaking at the Yoga Wind Down Workshop in Lanham, Maryland. On the topic is just breathe, and I'm going to be bringing the people a word about Be Earth You. Okay, because you guys know that that's something that I genuinely feel. This is Earth School, and we definitely have a lesson to learn. Each one of us here, and trust me, you will keep coming back until you learn your lesson. Trust and believe that. All right, and then this Thursday, you guys know the Work Is You Thursday. I'll be doing my monthly workshop. And the topic will be again, Be Earth You. So I just celebrated my birthday, my 42nd birthday. Hey, celebrate me on Earth Day. And so my apparel company, you guys know, is called Be Earth You. And the reason I called it that is because, like we're talking about, God gave me a whole message. He told me, He said, you were born on Earth Day for a reason. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so with everything that I'm doing, I started my apparel company, Be Earth You. And the topic that I'll be talking about this week is Be Earth You. It's going to be very, very, very introspective. It's going to be a whole word. And you should definitely check it out. If you follow me on Facebook, make sure that you are following Do the Work, Keep the Faith, so that you can catch that live. And it will also be on YouTube, so you can catch the live workshop, or you can catch the replay, however you want to do it. It will be it'll be a great time, and I will definitely be talking about some of the things that we're talking about today. But Be Earth You is a whole topic. We are here. Each one of us are here uniquely to be ourselves. This is Earth School that we are on here. There's a lesson to learn, and part of that lesson is learning how to trust God fully. Learning how to know God for yourself. Really coming to that realization. Okay. So, um, Carlos is back. I took a little quick
Yeah,
break to let them know what was going on with me while we were, working out our technical difficulties. But you are back,
but
and
like I
yeah.
said,
So, like you
he's
were saying,
utilizing you to use your voice and get the word out. Let people know how to trust God. Everybody,
hmm
as you said earlier, everybody don't know how to truly trust Him because it's
hmm
hard. We're used to control, but the thing about it, you have to literally take your hand off the wheel and walk. And
hmm
as you move, allow the word to be a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path. And what happens is things will happen when you
hmm
get out the way. When you learn to work on self and remove yourself from those things and quit fighting the flow. Flow with it. God has a plan.
hmm
He tells you in the word, especially those that love him. Hey, I know the
I
plan I
have a
have for
plan
you.
for you, and they are
Not to harm
cool
or hurt you, but
for
to
you
give you
too.
an expected end. You got to know that you got an expected end, and guess what? I don't have to know where I'm going no more. I don't have to take and anticipate things. I trust God fully to get me where I'm going and what He's told me.
Mm, mm, mm.
You have to learn how to, what He puts in your spirit, trust that it'll come to pass. Three things I used to say while I was in prison. I'm leaving prison this year. I said it
Mhm,
15 times a day for a year and a half. I left 4 years early. Second thing I said was the world is going to see my artwork. My artwork
mm,
now has been at the World Trade Center 3 years in a row. I've exhibited in DC twice, Baltimore twice, Florida, Georgia. I've sold over 4,900 copies of this book and over 4,500 of them, hand to hand, and signed every one of them. The last thing I asked for was a million to that I am a millionaire, and that'll happen. It's a time. The Bible says, "Write the vision and make it plain, so he who sees it will take it and run with it." It is
Come
for an
on.
appointed time. It shall speak and not lie. Wait for it. Though it may tarry, wait for it. Everything that God puts in your spirit is a vision. You have to put it down on paper. You have to
Come
keep it in
on.
front of you. And you have to know that it's going to come to pass. Don't
It's
know
gonna come to
when.
pass.
It's going to come to pass. You have to, and as it does, it says wait for it. That means it is a process to get you to where He wants you to be. You
Come
got to know
on
that.
now. Oh my goodness, why the internet acting like this today? Listen, he is speaking a whole word. I was just speaking about this as well. I do a show with Mr. Cortland Jones every second Saturday of the month called Speak Life. Well, this is what you do. We are speaking life into the things that God has put in us. We speak life to the things that God puts on our spirit. He puts it in us, and He put something different in each one of us. We have to believe and speak it. And like you said, trust and believe that it will come to pass, and we will not have it's going to come to pass in no way that you could even do it, because he is the one who's going to get the glory. He is the one. He's going to take you through some things, and you may go through some things. You may be going in the opposite direction of that thing that you're looking for, or that thing that you just spoke to pass, and he will make the way, just so that and so we can have a testimony. And then your job is to speak on it and to share it with other people. You need to share that with other people. Be the light. That's my
Come
topic
on,
this
sir.
week. Let your light shine. Be the light. Share the story of what he has done for you, so that they can see what is possible
My,
when you trust and believe in God. Come on.
you said something just a few minutes ago. You said, "Be the light." The Bible says, "Let your light so shine among men that they may see your good works and glorify your God which is in heaven." You
Yeah.
have to be the light. Can't
Yes.
nobody tell your testimony like you can tell them. Can't
No.
nobody share that story.
No.
He gave you that story for you to share. But um, I know we getting down to time, but
No,
my
come on.
brother
We're
told
gonna
me
go.
my brother told me recently. He said, "Apple trees don't eat apples. People do."
Mm.
And it dawned on me that we don't eat our testimonies. That is like, say if an apple fall on the ground and nothing eat it, it rots from inside out. That happens with a testimony. If a person sit there and don't share it, they get mad, they get angry, they get frustrated because they don't understand that it was never for them.
Come
It
on.
is for the nourishing of somebody else's spirit. Once you open your mouth and you share that, it's like that apple. And once we consume an apple, that testimony is consumed by others to nourish
Yeah.
their spirits like the apple nourishes the body. You got to
Yes.
know that you're called to tell. Look, he says in the Bible, it says, if you don't praise him, he'll get the rocks to crowd.
Ooh.
I don't need a rock to crowd for me. I can
Mm-mm.
tell everybody how great and mighty my God is and what he's done for me. Look,
Come on, tell them what way. Yes,
he utilized people to get me home.
yes.
And I know it didn't come from them because they had never thought about me or thought about a bunch of men and women for a long time. For 8 years, I sat in prison without people's help. But
Hmm.
there was an appointed time that God said, "Hey, it's time for you to come home." But when you come home, you gonna have everything that's gonna equip you for what I need you to do,
Come on,
and that's
man.
share your testimony. That's
We
set
got
people
to
on
share.
fire and allow them to know that, hey, my God is great. My God is
Yeah,
mighty.
yes. Come on, man.
So
Listen, look, we done got a whole, join the interview and a church service broke out. You right about that, listen, because it's a whole word, and the internet right here is not trying to cooperate with us today. It's not trying to let us have a good service. But we are definitely I'm so excited, like, that we have had this opportunity. I was just talking about how the internet just don't want us to be great today, but it's okay you know um this is really truly what I'm called for. I'm so again, God knows what he's doing. He knows. And when we just follow and just open up ourselves to whatever it is that he has for us, that's that trusting. That's this walking, by faith, walking. We crossed that path, and you shared that story with me right before we parted ways about the apple and your brother telling you shared that story. I remember that. And that is so true. And that is something that for a long time I did not do. I did not speak. I have had platforms. He gave me this platform of being a host years ago. Years ago. And it was only until last year that I realized what he really wanted me to do with it. And he gave me a whole vision, and he made it very clear. And I have since been able to do so many great things, with my coaching program, with this podcast, and now he's introducing me to people like yourself. We are meeting. He's bringing me my people, and I'm so grateful
hmm
for it. I'm so grateful for it. Carlos, we are now friends. Okay, we are family. Okay, he'll be back in a second. I'm going to wrap this podcast up. Clearly, we're going to have more to talk about, but don't forget, every Tuesday I am here. We're going to talk about so many great things on introducing. But Carlos, tell the people, if you want to follow him, make sure you follow him on Instagram. Okay, it's Walkers with an S underscore gallery two. Okay. Can you tell them where else they can follow you, where they can purchase your book, or where they might be able to, if you, and you can always go down to the African American Museum, because that's where you can find them.
yeah, yeah, I'm back. So you can find me at Walkers underscore gallery 2, or you can actually on Instagram, if you would like a signed copy of my book, you can DM me. I sign it, send it to you. Send me your address or anything. Uh, hey, I thank you for allowing me to be on here.
No, I thank you, truly, for being open to the invitation. Um, Again, it was definitely an instant connection. God has definitely brought us together, and I'm so grateful for it. And we will definitely keep in touch. Are you in? You're in. Oh, okay. Well, he'll be back again. This is just so sad. I'm just having such a hard time with the internet today. But don't forget, his IG is scrolling at the bottom. It's Walkers underscore gallery two. You can also make sure that you check him out. He'll be down by the African American Museum often. And you can get a copy of the book there in person as well if you would like to. Any last words or closing statements you want to leave with my introducing guest today, Mr. Walker?
Yes, I'm gonna give you the same words my mama always told me. I dare you to trust it.
Ooh-wee. That's it right there. This
So, yep, I
is
love each and every one
introducing.
of y'all.
Yes. I am your girl, Smart Video Girl. This is introducing the podcast. I am a creative and influential visionary who shows up authentically in all ways and empowers others to think and live their best lives. Again, like I said, season two introducing has been the bomb, y'all. It has been the bomb, and it continues to get better. And guess what? We only have, I think, five more shows left. Five more shows. And then I will be ending the season. So at the end of May, I will be done with introducing the podcast. It has been a phenomenal season. And I'm just so blessed as to what God has done with this particular podcast. We have gotten over, we have reached a goal of our subscribers. So I'm really excited for all you guys who like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And guess what? It's going to be even more because I just know God is going to continue to do amazing things with this platform. So, with that being said, I will see you guys next week here on Introducing. And don't forget to follow my guest on IG. All right. Until next week. Peace.
Okay.